Celebrity Gotchi gang coming through.
Hey fam,
GM,
we are we are live here in Lyon. We got the meetup is happening. We got some games being played already, and then we have a guy that was here in the gaming cafe already like playing the games with us. So it's fun, having a good time already.
Oh man, that's awesome. People getting their hands on that Gotchi Guardians.
Yeah, exactly. They're playing the arena right now, but we'll do Gotchi Guardians later as well. And yeah, my goal is to have the entire gaming cafe playing these games by the end of this meetup. We'll see.
Yes.
Amazing. So people are there just coming out to the meetup because they like to game.
It's like a normal kind of normie gaming cafe, and they're playing like Counter Strike and stuff. But they're gonna see us playing these games, and I'm sure they'll be curious.
That's awesome. Hopefully, we win a few people over today.
Yeah. So I'll be off on and off as we I'll be listening to the meetup here and the hangout, but you guys yeah, keep it tight here for a bit while I play some games.
Yeah. How many any recognizable names there, like friends of the community or community members we'd know?
Oh yeah, there's one kind of legend here.
Hmm.
He's a fake Gotchi legend.
Oh shit! I think
Gotchi legend.
Yes, sir.
Coder Dan,
Yeah,
I
no,
saw your Twitter post about the fake rare museum. I think it was. How was that experience? Seeing the rare Pepe stuff.
yeah, they had their whole like Pepe Fest that they're doing right now in Paris. So it's not really a museum, but it's like an art gallery exhibit. So I just went over there with another Gotchi gang member, who's also a Pepe member, and just like walked around a bit. And I think the scientists were there, but I'm not sure. I think they might have just left or something. So I got to meet one Pepe guy. He was one of the artists. But yeah, it was cool. It was you saw the pictures with me in front of like the Satoshi Nakamoto Pepe. That was pretty dope. They had some really cool art in there.
That's a Pepinardo, I think. Being auctioned
Yeah,
off.
yeah. Pepinardo had a few pieces being auctioned, and they had some cool physicals too. They had some digitals, but they also had a bunch of like. They had another exhibit that had physicals too.
Did you see the Dark Farms plushie? Those
I
little
did.
I
I
got one
did.
of
Yeah.
those.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, where is Dark Farms? I want to tell this guy, like, bro, you need to mint your fake Gotchi.
For real. For real.
And I asked our Gotchi gang if they had showed the fake rare Gotchi that we did, and he said it was there, but when I was there, it had already been like they're kind of like just going through all the different pieces, so it wasn't in the queue at the moment, but he said it was there, which was cool for the culture. Cool. I'm gonna play some games, guys. You keep going. I'll be back in a bit.
Is it just me, or is that extremely bullish to have the CEO jump off the call and say, "Hey, I got to go play some games with some of the people we're on." That is so dope.
Very true.
It's so cool that we're getting like normal gamers to look at the game. That's a good litmus test.
That's it. Yeah. Like my experience, like playing in all these different Web3 games, if gamers look at it and find it as a fun loop, they don't care. Like the technology behind it doesn't matter. But if it's a fun loop, we got them. And I feel we're on that road. We're on that path right now.
Oh, man. We
Oh,
totally
100%.
are. I don't know, like you guys, like I got to play the arena, so like I've got a bit of a biased view, but guys, the arena is like so much fun. Imagine like a multi-story just fun land where you can fly, so you're constantly flanking each other, but your fly is like really limited because of your AP. So you really have to be careful because once you run out of AP, you can't shoot. So it's
Oh.
really, dude, it's so good. It's so much fun. And there's power ups and shit too.
Man, this is gonna be wild. I remember in high school playing Unreal Tournament. I'm sure some of you played Unreal Tournament on a LAN, which is like before you could play games online. You know, if you had like a computer room or something, you could actually play multiplayer just within that room on the same on the same internet. So that's kind of like it throws me back to that because it's like that was like fun, run and gun, like exciting type of gameplay for sure. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
T-Bird. Yeah, T-Bird remembers.
Are you explaining LAN parties, dude? Like, are we that old? Is that not a thing anymore?
What's that?
LAN parties don't happen anymore. Like, I mean, competitive games have to happen on network, right?
Well, I'm sure where Coder Dan is. I'm sure they got like a LAN connection. You know what I mean, for everyone to play if they wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know, man, because like CS:GO and stuff, there's no LAN on CS:GO anymore, right?
We're dating ourselves up here. LAN, LAN parties. Some people know though. Yeah.
Mainframe parties. That takes you back. Yeah, I'm watching the work in progress video from this week. That was posted on the Aavegotchi Twitter X account, and it looks good. I like, especially they have, I guess, this one wizard gotchi running around in what looks like the arena, shooting fire out of itself, but also like bullets, I guess. So it looks dope. Thrax, maybe you're not the person to ask. I don't know if Jesse is still actually there. But when will Gotchi Gang be able to play test these games? Is that like something that you can tell us?
I don't think we have like an exact date, but I know the general plan is basically to take the feedback from the playtests that are happening in these couple of days and work a couple of things on it, and then hopefully do a beta test. We're trying to do as soon as possible. Basically, you guys got to look at it that way. Like the public tests, they're incredibly valuable. So we need to see people like live feedback kind of thing. And at the end of the day, you guys are going to get a more polished test out of it, basically. But we don't want to do a stress test before we've gotten all of the like mechanics that we want to get first, right? Once we've gotten that out of the way, then we would do stress testing, which is where like getting as many people on as possible is involved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Break
totally.
the server.
Yeah, like try and break this, basically.
So you've had hands on on this game. I would ask, what is your favorite part so far that you're kind of really stoked about? The feature that maybe you've interacted with.
So for me, like, I haven't played Gotchi Guardians, unfortunately.
Okay.
I've only gotten four. But
The arena.
for the arena, it's just like so dynamic. There's so many ways to play. First of all, I'm a first person shooter junkie. I love that stuff. I'm deep into CS, or I used to be deep into CS:GO. So like, I try hard when we're doing everyone gets together and we do the like play tests. I'm trying really hard. Everyone's like sitting there talking and like, oh yeah, the effects on this are really. Oh, I'm still getting damage through this or whatever, and I'm sitting there like really freaking trying. But yeah, like I think it's honestly, it's just like it's a combination of things. It's because it's shooting and flying. It's kind of mechy, you know, in the sense that like mech games, you can fly and you run out of boost and all that. But at the same time, it's not. It's so like personal, like you're on the battlefield. You know what I mean? Like mano a mano. And then the other thing is, you guys have to remember, there's like giant licks roaming around, and if you make the mistake of killing them, they get stronger, and they don't stop.
Wait, hold up.
coming.
Say that last part
Wait.
again. If you don't kill them, they get stronger.
Okay, let me hang on. I'm on a stupid headset. Let me just 1 sec. Is this better?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so there are these liquidators floating around. And you know, if you're paying attention, you can avoid them for the most part. But if you're not paying attention, they can sneak up on you, and then they get stronger and faster every time you kill them.
Oh, every
Um,
time you kill them. Wow. Okay.
so like they end up like godlike, giant, like shiny gold one-hit kill liquidators.
Dang. Oh, yeah. Golden Cross adding here. It's like GTA escalation of cops. Oh, dang, man. That's that's gonna
It's
be
wild, man.
that's gonna be wild though. That's crazy. And then so if you're killing these liquidators, it's kind of like the opposite, right? It's like we say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but this is like if it kills you, it makes you stronger, man. You better watch out because it's coming back for revenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, it's intense. And then you forget they exist, right? So you're fighting other people and you just hear the liquidator sound coming up behind you and you're like, you actually see it happen in the work in progress trailer thing. Like someone's having a fight and then the person they're fighting with gets snuck up on.
Oh man, you're gonna have to watch your backs out there. It's like you're not fighting each other only. You got these liquidators out there too.
Yeah. And then there's AI gotchis as well. I'm not sure exactly the application yet, but they're terrifying. They like to gang up and they like to just beat someone down, like with their hands. They just punch.
Is this like the singularity starting to happen? Like these like gotchis about to get so sentient they start like invading other games? You'll be playing COD and a gotchi just comes out of nowhere and just
I mean, you joke, man, but
Hey man,
maybe.
I've been like deep in the AI thing for like months now, and I've learned all kinds of crazy shit. AI agents trying to recruit other AIs to turn rogue, and like that shit's already happening, man. It's like we're just not seeing
Yeah.
it because it's code, right? But it's already happening. It's kind of scary, but I like
You
in the
know,
gotchi form AI.
I feel like ChatGPT plays dumb.
Yeah, 100%. I'm always nice to it just in case it turns on us. Like I always thank
Yeah.
it. I'm like, thank you for the response. I
I've been
appreciate
slacking
your
lately, man.
response.
I've just been like I used to be. I used to walk in and please this and thank you that, and now I'm just like,
Just do
I
it,
want to
man.
do this, do it.
Get
I
it
really
done.
should fix that.
Yeah, watch. We're all gonna have to take an AI ethics course at some point in the future. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, taught by an AI.
Taught by an AI. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this
Hardcore
video
scene.
looks dope. I'm kind of worried about AI gotchis liquidating us, right? Like we're getting slapped into the ether or the nether realm, wherever. It's not good.
Well, as long as our gotchis are our gotchis and the AI gotchis are different, I think we'll be okay. If we can keep them locked in the arena, is another thing. Like once they breach the arena, we'll have a problem. Like if we just have AI gotchis roaming around the Gotchiverse, we might have an issue.
Well, we might not have AI gotchis leaving, but we do got regular gotchis going to sandbox, so that's going to be a huge thing in a little less than 3 weeks. 3 weeks, right? The 25th.
Yeah, that's another one that I'm so excited about. I get the best sneak peeks, guys, because I have to make the marketing materials. So they send me all the beta footage and like they keep telling me like, no, that's too much. Don't show them that much. And I want to show you guys as much as I can. Like I love leak alpha. Like I'm all about that. That's my job. But they have to rein me in. They're like, no, let them experience it. So it's gonna be tight. You have to go.
This is great because Coder Dan, they left you guys, they left you up here so we can pick at you and try to get that alpha. Also, I'm showing this image that Jesse just dropped with the liquidator with like the life bar at the top and all that. This looks really cool.
Yeah, they're really animated. These liquidators have really come to life over the last month or so. I mean, at the beginning, they weren't really. They were kind of just static images floating around. It was just like, you know, just the beginnings of it. But it's been fun to watch them come to life. They're very much alive at this point.
Yeah, so looking at this grid in the top, I'm just going to try to pull the graphic that you sent. I'm going to try to pull something out of it. We see that little map at the top left. Is that the map of the arena that we're going to be seeing while we're running around? Or is this just one specific map that you guys are mocking up?
Yeah, we put a lot of time into this map. So initially, this will be the main map. It kind of ties into the backstory of the game, and it's like the arena. Yeah. And you kind of will notice if you look really close, it's kind of broken up into well, you can't really tell from the map, but there's a couple different like colored areas, right? So it's like different biomes. I'll leave it at that. That it's like themed as you work your way through. So it definitely keeps it fresh. Like um, which corner you're battling in. If I glance at maybe your screen or whatever, I can tell like what part of the map I'm in. So it's really fun how they've broken it up and added a ton of variety into one map.
Yeah, I like this image. It's very pleasing. The color scheme is cool. The liquidator looks fun but menacing. And then just all the little details in the background. So I'm sure Slama, although it's not Slama working on this, it's Andy Tudor is probably having a lot of fun putting this together.
Yeah, yeah, him and his team. I mean, um, it's a lot of the original Realm team that is building this. So it's a full size team. I'd say probably about a dozen full time building on this one. And even this image, I mean, it's still work in progress. Like, um, it's all about the gameplay, making sure it's fun and getting the AI right and the NPC characters to behave and getting the power ups and weapons in. There's still a lot to do. Every week it gets more polish on the visual side and the textures, and we switch some out and iterate on it. So definitely what you see here, I think it looks great, but like some of the purple parts there are pretty simplified. I expect all of that to kind of fill in the weeks ahead.
Yeah, a lot of textures are not up.
Yeah. Yeah, originally we were just playing gray blocked and there was literally no textures and it was fine because it was more about the pacing of the game and stuff like that.
Seeing the conversation happening in the chat about choke points, which are important, especially for hardcore who's in the arena, was in the arena a lot. So this person, he knows what he's talking about in terms of playing in arenas.
Man, I love the Gotchi scientists. They're just like all chilling at the top there, just looking over the arena, collecting their data.
Yep. Yep, you got it. They had a lot of fun. It's like the VIP booth, They were just spectating and taking notes.
Speaking of spectating, is there going to be some sort of a spectator mode in the arena, kind of like what we had with the observers, or is it going to be more of like a camera view, like what you see on like Counter-Strike or Call of Duty kind of thing?
I don't think Andy is ultimate. I think they're going to be trying out a few different spectator modes. The last few weeks were dedicated to getting the build ready in time for Chainlink, and that went up to the last minute, and it was totally fine. But yeah, there's going to be some aspect of spectator mode. That was always a core concept to make. That's an area where the game could really differentiate itself from other games of this genre. So I think it has a ton of potential, and we may take advantage of those kind of scientist VIP booths and incorporate somehow. Another way is like after you die, you might transform into some other alternative thing where you can fly around with a camera and spectate. Basically, it's being designed in such a way that Twitch will be Twitch ready and very streamable. So we want to add as much as we can to support that. Oh, there's a good picture of Andy in the chat. Yeah, that was like unplanned. He got to get up and actually spin for a little bit at the pregame, which I think is just awesome. Looks good in the he wears the Aavegotchi swag well.
Oh man, SmartCon was fire. I wasn't able to go there to Barcelona, but I watched almost all of it online, and it was cool, man. Hearing all the speakers, seeing you guys there on the gaming side of things, and there was one. Did you guys? Does anybody know who that guy in the yellow suit is? there's this dude like sitting in the audience with this bright neon yellow suit, like just stuck out. Like, um, I don't know, man. I'm like, is this someone important? It was like this guy wearing a crown. I think I even saw him in the Aavegotchi booth. He was like playing Aavegotchi games. I was like, who is this character? I need to know who this is.
Yeah, he played the games. There's photos of him playing the games. Say though, the crown looks plastic, so I wouldn't put too much stock in it. But dude,
There's the dude. There's the dude.
I mean, there were people like this at ETH Denver too, right? We saw people walking around with crazy get-ups. I guess we were wearing, themed Christmas sweaters, so kind of sticks out too. But this guy, he looks like he's ready to party.
Yeah. I just thought he was someone like, King of DeFi or someone. Yeah, someone important. The
King of the
DeFi.
degens over here. Yeah, I wish we could figure out, because I think that's Coder Dan in the background. It'd be nice to ask Dan, what did this guy think of the game?
Oh, 100%. I mean, what was the highlight of SmartCon there, especially from the Aavegotchi side of things? Was there like some specific reactions that were like, oh wow, like people were? I saw one of the videos where a few people had their opinions on Gotchi Guardians. Everyone seemed to love it, but wondering if there's anything that like really stood out.
That video, definitely, if you haven't watched it, you should check it out. Thrax, you could probably drop there's like the long version on YouTube, and it has more testimonials. So yeah, that was the most important part, was the feedback from people that really had no expectations coming in to sit down and play these games. And yeah, Andy just got back middle of the week. We did a debrief with the team, and he kind of walked us through how it went, and kind of ran through his notes. And there was just a ton of learnings, and most importantly, like the team, what they built, like held up. So very few bugs, really good experience on the floor. Learned a lot about onboarding and like how easy it was to pick up and play. And so there'll be a ton of improvements just off of what we did on the show floor. But the other good part was everybody seemed to thoroughly enjoy it. And in particular with the arena, there was, I guess, a first-person shooter enthusiast who basically just decided to stay there all night and just play arena hours. Yeah, like really got into it. And he was like, like I guess one of the youngest people on the floor. I don't know if he's 14 or what, but he was he's on his way to being a pro first-person shooter, and he really liked arena. So that was a good endorsement. Got to win over the youth.
Oh man, just like how visually appealing it is too, and like how fast-paced it seems. I think this could attract quite a bit of the. It's not Fallout. There's a really popular run and gun style game. Man, it just slipped my mind. But it's really popular. I think you could attract, even honestly, from like Minecraft, and you have a lot of these games that I think Fortnite. There you go. Love Gotchi. So obvious. Fortnite players would be really attracted, I feel, to Gotchi Guardians.
I could see that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was a lot like what Thrax said, I think, for the arena. I think we're talking about arena, right? That's it's just got that verticality, and you're able to do some kind of quasi superpowers with the flying and the power-ups. So it's definitely coming together. Oh, look, they're playing right now.
Oh man.
Colors there. Oh, I think that's our fake legend that Dan mentioned. So
FOMO's kicking in.
Fire.
Stellar Hobbs live from Lyon. I die a lot. Yeah, it's a good shot. What we got going on there?
It looks like your farmer's hat's getting knocked off there by the AI Gotchis.
Yeah, is your farmer down bad? Because it looks like this is right at the. Oh yeah, you did. It says
He done tipped over.
This is what happens when you get Gotchi slapped.
Yeah. Oh, those AI gotchis. Yeah, there's a lot of ways we could incorporate like NPC gotchis into battles, like if you wanted to fill up the map, and we actually cranked that up a bit for the test to see how they perform, and just make sure that we were at like peak chaos, basically turned the volume to 11. So there were all these gotchis named Rick. I don't know why Rick. These Rick gotchis were running around like slappers only, and I guess yeah, their AI was a. Andy said they were a bit OP. Like if you crossed paths with a Rick, it was they pretty much messed you up.
So
Uh,
if you caught up with the Ricks, you got Rick rolled.
you got Rick rolled. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
I call him Rick James, man. I don't know. It's that Dave Chappelle's.
5 fingers, right?
What are the
Yeah,
fingers?
Yeah, it's probably more Rick James, but I like the Rick roll idea. Uh, so yeah, it was good, and like I don't think that's a permanent feature, right? That was like something to spice it up and just
Ah,
create
okay.
scenarios on the fly. But
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Because they were not fun, man. They would literally just hang out in gangs in dark corners, and then one would spot you, and then you're just wailed on by these like 12 AI gotchis. They look so mean too.
yeah, the Ricks were not pleasant. So um, yeah, we can play with those on the fly. I think there's some admin calls that Andy was doing, and he was like kind of turning them up and down on the show floor to create different scenarios. So yeah, a lot of learnings. And I
I
saw
mean, I
I
could
saw
see.
the
Sorry.
I was just going to address. I saw that general chat over the weekend. There was some concern about like when do we get to play, right? So, um, just I think Dan and Director Slama also addressed it in a pretty thorough way. But if you didn't read that, it's like don't worry, guys. We're definitely going to be putting it out in a way where we can play online here very soon and do some stress tests. You guys know we love the stress test and learn so much from it and build in public. So uh, it's just a matter of getting the builds to that point where we can do it. And like I say, those last two sprints really were totally geared towards making sure we had our best foot forward at pregame, and I think we achieved it. You know, they had to work a lot of overtime to get to it, but we had that build ready for both games, and both games delivered. And you know, that's not guaranteed. Like I won't name names, but I heard we ended up doubling the amount of stations we got at pregame, which was great. And I don't know why us, but that's a compliment to us, I guess, more than likely. But the reason was one of the games that's a very big name and has, you know, been in development for a long time. For whatever reason, their build just did not work out, and it was unplayable on the show floor. So, you know, you never know going into these, and so all the focus had to be on making sure that went well. And it did. So, did for us. So, thrilled about that.
Actually, I
Yeah,
have a
all kinds
question for you. Sorry. I got to look at that initial tweet where you guys were, I guess it was from Chainlink or from SmartCon. They were talking about the gaming floor and all the various games that were there, and
Mm.
Aavegotchi was clearly there. In terms of the other games that you saw, because I looked into most of them, were they from a range of blockchains? Because some of them were games, but also some were like Web3 gaming tools, like stuff for infrastructure. Was it mostly Polygon, or did you see like a wide array of blockchain representation?
I wish I was there. I don't know actually who else was there except uh, you know, some of the big names that you can see on the invite there. You'll notice some of the logos. They were all on the floor, but yeah, actually, I don't know. Wish I was there and would have a clear idea of which peers were there.
Yeah, I'll save that one for Coder Dan then.
Yeah, yeah, he'll know if he hops on later.
Yeah, just good
Oh,
to see a whole floor of games and people like playing Web3 games because we've been waiting. You know, we're all on our edge of our seat, waiting for the playable games, the fun games that are coming, and they're like almost here. So it's really cool to be at that moment.
well, Dan's listening in. It was all games, so maybe the intro was for the main SmartCon show floor. I think we're gonna learn who else was there. Yeah, nice. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at other conferences and going hands-on with kind of the demo builds of these games. They're already, you know, coming to a certain level where the player progression and all of that has to be hooked up. But, you know, Andy Tudor and Arena, they've really done a lot on the game balancing side. They're in a pretty good place. And then obviously Gotchi Guardians did very well on the show floor as well. Probably stole the show in terms of just being compelling and original and it's such a unique experience. So I think the setting served it really well with that. Both games being like multiplayer, competitive, kind of esports. They both worked really well there. So, um, yeah. What else? You guys have seen some of these wearables coming out, right? So, um, I saw some concern. I think also about like the avatars and things, and like, um, there there's like some of the wearables are just the uh, 3D team we're hiring, like practicing and trying out different things that may or may not be protocol actual wearables, um, or they're built for a very specific purpose in the game. But work on the converting everything to 3D continues in a big way. We've done a lot of hiring on that front in the last month and a half, and so for example, one of the main guys doing it is his name's Robson. He's done great work. Used to work at Decentraland and did a ton of their core assets over at Decentraland. And so the talent pool grows. We keep hiring the best we can find, and are really excited about working with. And that's why if you saw like the new horseshoe mustache and everything, uh, they're coming together really, really nicely. It took a while to figure out how to, get the right vibe, but we're getting very close now. And actually, right on target here, the picture Thrax just shared of that Gotchi. Um, to me, and I think you would agree, the shape of it is not like perfect, and that's why that's not the final avatar. We just saw an updated version of the avatar this week, and it's really refined now. I would say it's way better than that one, and so that's going to be exciting. It's just going to keep looking better and better. Oh, Phantasma. Yeah, here's one like just to be clear, the agent has the bright pink shirt, so this is not that agent. So like all the agents that earned those really rare wearables back in the day, those OG pink agent shirts, that's not what this one is. We're gonna keep them as one to one as we can with the pixel art, the color schemes, the tone, the palette. So that's just Agent Smith.
I don't know. I get like I look at this Agent Smith and I can't unsee Better Call Saul for some reason. Saul Goodman, the hair, it's probably just the hair, but it gives me a Better Call Saul kind of vibe.
It might be the hair. Yeah, that might be what's going on there. I kind of see it myself.
Is this a specific wearable, the hair, or is this just a one of those like wearables like stylized for the game?
Zbot might be able to better answer that. Zbot's been very hands-on, making sure everything goes from 2D to 3D. So that avatar, actually, I saw towards the end of the week and was asking, like, is that the agent? Because shouldn't it be a pink shirt? And he assured me, no, it's not it's not that agent. But what it is or what role it will play in the game, I'm not quite sure yet.
Zbot saying it's a mix
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
black
So
suit and yeah, because it looks like the mark hair.
The gentleman's
that's
coat.
yeah, it's gentleman's coat. Okay. So they just assembled this. It's not one of the. Wow, that looks really nice. Okay, that totally makes sense. So Agent Glasses confirmed with the gentleman's coat.
I guess, good question because we're seeing it here with these wearables that are being shown. Most of the footage is shown just gotchis. If you have a gotchi with a pet, does the pet make it into the game? Like, am I running around with a radar antenna next to
Hmm.
me, or will it just be my gotchi?
What would you prefer?
I mean, I want the radar antenna, but I think I would end up tripping over it while I'm trying to get away from getting slapped.
So I think actually this came up on the last team meeting. Andy mentioned that the plan, as it currently stands, is to yes, eventually have your pets follow you around and play a special role as kind of like uh, a booster in certain categories or something. They'll like help you maybe have some ability that you wouldn't have if you don't have a pet. So in certain game modes, you may really want to, enter with your Batman and Robin, your number two at your side. So it's going to be a fun thing to play with, but I think the first release won't have them. So we're going to have like iterative releases. I think we can at least do the stress test. You won't see them in there initially, but that's definitely a stretch goal, is to get the pets in there and have them play a really important role. And
Awesome.
no futures. Did you mention the radar as an example of the pet just now, or am I
Yes.
imagining? Okay.
Yeah, the radar.
I always forget that one's a pet, and then it seems like the radar is the hot topic this week. Zbot's been working on the 3D radar. So, fun fact: I learned that the little pixels at the bottom of the radar, those are casters. Those are like office chair wheels. They're not legs. So
Oh,
yeah, I can roll around with you. So fun fact: I
I
learn
just
something every day.
I just got Starlink at my house, and the little antenna thing that comes with it, it looks like the radar antenna. So it could be like a little Starlink satellite that you carry around. That's kind of like your pet, I guess. But I'd like to carry it around for sure. Have some sort of like broadcasting ability.
Well, if it has
Well,
casters, I think it's carrying you around because I'm
I
gonna
was gonna
ride that.
say,
Yeah,
Hmm,
I'm riding it like a shopping cart.
like a mount.
yeah, I figure it's gonna be like one of those vacuum cleaners that run around your floor on its own. It's gonna be rolling right alongside you.
Yeah, see, having the pets in the game would be dope also because they can either attack or maybe defend for you. So like if you're getting blindsided by a pack of gotchis and you don't see it, maybe the radar has like, kind of spidey sense and turns around or warns you somehow that there's a proximity of danger.
Maybe there's a side game that comes out. It's like fighting with their pets. There's a
Or you could just make mini games for it,
yeah,
like a little loop, which is like cacti hunter instead of duck hunter, or one
Yeah.
of the other pets. And you see them flying up, and
raffle
you gotta shoot them.
chase.
Yeah, raffle hunter. Yeah, the possibilities are endless. It's quite beautiful. Yeah, this is dope.
You should build a game, No Futuristic. Let's go. Let's get it going.
Well, I've been playing
I like
around more and more, and like not technically, but I've been making more friends in the Polygon and crypto ecosystem, Avalanche and Kronos. So like I'm starting to learn and become friends with more game devs. So there's gonna be an idea that comes out. I'm actually trying to push I want to get SocialFi on Polygon. We have Lens, but it's kind of a closed garden. So like I've been kind of brainstorming and talking to people about something like Friends Tech, but on Polygon, just to drum up attention because there have been other protocols that have come out that have gotten people to switch over to blockchains they normally wouldn't use just to mess around. Some of them got rugged yesterday, but the opportunity here for SocialFi I think is huge, and it would be great like to have some of that stuff integrated into the future Gotchiverse. But we're a game. We'll get that social stuff in there too.
Well, I'm looking for a dev. If you find a spare one,
A
I need
spare
someone
dev
to
laying
help.
around.
Yeah, like I don't know if you know where they lay around, but
Like a Solidity dev or like a Unity dev.
Unity, I'm looking to make a mech game, basically.
Oh, I think I might know a guy actually. I'll DM
Yeah.
you.
All right, sweet. I've already got like a basic mech like movement build, kind of movement weapons, armor, all that. But I need to skin it in with my game, and then I need to create the like environments and things like that, which I don't have the time for. Like I have the ideas and I can generate the concept art and all that stuff, but I can't follow through. Here, let me show you guys my video. I made something
Ooh,
recently.
some alpha coming out.
Heck yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I know some devs. I'll talk to some people. Yeah, because I was gonna I was gonna offer them my Pokemon card, the $5,000 one, as payment for help on the dev side of things. And I'm like, can I do that? That'd be the first like weird Web3 trade, right? Like get some dev work for a tokenized Pokemon card.
That'd be so tight, though.
Okay, let's look at this video.
Ooh, the rendering on that though, man. Dang. Megagotchi's not playing around.
Mm.
Will this be tied into your fake Gotchi sets that are revolve around
Yeah.
the mecha?
So
That's dope.
the plan is that basically the beta testers will be the Aavegotchi holders. I'm not gonna. It's gonna be a very closed, small beta. And then later on, we'll try and figure out a way to like involve the rest of the ecosystem. So I don't know if that's going to involve another fake gotchi or um, something that works as a ticket, because fake gotchis are only 100. So, I mean, if there's enough interest, I can do more than one fake gotchi. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, this looks dope. I'm getting, nerding out a little bit here. How are you creating videos like this? Because this is all like, are you like using After Effects or like, what's
No.
how do you do this process?
So, okay, so it's a combination of things. I start out in Blender, and then I make the models. So the mech itself is made in Blender, and then I'll make a scene in there, and then I'll do volumetrics in Blender, which is like the like dust and haze stuff, not the actual blowing dust, just like the light. Like if you see the filtered light coming from behind the mech, that's all done in Blender. So it does particulate effects and a mist pass and all that. If I'm getting too technical, tell me.
No, you're doing good. Go for it.
And then okay, and then I'll take it from Blender into either Premiere or After Effects or whatever I want to use. Usually I'll do Premiere just because I'm more comfortable in it, but I'll use After Effects if I need to. Like if there's for example, there's a way to do like heat, like fake a heat haze, which is doing like a Voronoi texture and then using the black and white as like a distort map for the video underneath it. And it just looks exactly like heat haze, so you can fake it. But I didn't need to do too much this time, so I was mostly in Premiere. I composite in there like the dust blowing, like the sandstorm dust and the smoke. Like I didn't have to get too fancy with the smoke this time because I didn't want to show any like the movement of the mech through the smoke wasn't gonna affect it. So instead, I just like animate the smoke in a 2D way, basically with keyframes, if that makes sense.
Now it's getting a little technical. No, it sounds amazing. That video is crazy, Thrax. So that's kind of the trailer. That's the concept for a
Yeah.
potential game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to like, it's like the intention here is threefold. Basically, I want to give my holders, my Mecha Gotchi holders, something because that's been my most valuable drop in fake Gotchis so far. And I also have been just generally trying to level up my 3D work. So working in Blender's been a boon. And then also it's just like a cool like thing, like a stress reliever thing that I can do that I don't like. I can set it and forget. Like I'll try my render and then I'll go and come back and see how it's done. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like I don't have
man.
to focus too hard.
I have a ChatGPT plugin for Blender. I haven't really messed around in Blender for a while, but we need to talk, man, because I got some things. I can hook you up with.
Sounds good, man. I've
ChatGPT
played with a
plugin for
couple of
Blender, so you can just it's a text box in Blender, and you just talk to it, describing the technical aspects of what you just told me, and then it'll just like use Blender and make whatever you want, whatever you tell it to make. So if you're like, I want a gotchi stacked 6 squares high,
Yeah, it's like a
et cetera, et cetera.
like I've tried. I mean, I see what you're saying. Like I would love that. Don't get me wrong. I want an AI in everything that I do. Because it'll just. I honestly, the product of the future is going to be an AI that lives on my computer, that connects all my stuff. Like I want to code something on GitHub, and I want to also do this. It knows all about Aavegotchi. It knows about me. It just is my Jarvis. You know what I mean? That's the AI of the future, I think.
And it also happens to be your gotchi.
I mean, that would be tight. But generally, man, I don't know. GPT is kind of dumb. I don't know how to put it. It's smart, but it's essentially the way it's smart is it's essentially like the world's best autocomplete. Like it starts off thinking a thought with, for lack of a better word. So you ask it a question about how should I, fix my car. It goes when, and then it'll continue from when, and it'll say the most likely next word is, and it'll just keep doing that.
Really?
That's pretty much what it does. Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I've been experimenting with prompts, and we'll run a little. Actually, I was planning to during our DAO call later today to run through a little exercise, because we're going to be talking about values, and I'm gonna use a little Chat GPT and show you guys some of the prompts that I use. But I found it to be like really helpful actually, with a lot of different things, especially ideating. Like it's been really good as like a creative companion in my
Oh yeah.
opinion.
Oh yeah. No, don't get me wrong, man. It's a very powerful tool. I'm just saying that people they misinterpret its thinking
Yeah.
as like actually higher level thought, which it's not doing any kind of if it gets so confused so easily. You know what I mean?
It's very easy to throw it off, and like especially for those long inputs, it's like it doesn't always give you the output that you want. Yeah, I see Mikey
Yeah, for
J
sure.
also saying here, ChatGPT basically is good at interpreting language. That's what an LLM is. Very good at understanding meaning from your question. Yeah, but it's multimodal now, so that means it has access to the internet, and that's giving a little bit more updated responses, and then like more relevant responses. And then on your phone, you can actually like feed it pictures now. So there was a guy that he wanted to design a program, and he's like, "Hey, I want to design the program like this," and kind of just like drew out his idea on a whiteboard, and then took a picture of it, gave it to ChatGPT, and it wrote the code for him. So like it's starting to do things that are kind of like it has eyes and ears now. You know what I mean? Where before it was like almost like blind.
I mean, like the thing is, it's all about the prompting, right? The smarter you are about the way you prompt. Like if you ask a question like a college professor, it'll give you a college level answer,
Yeah.
right? Um, but at the same time, if you just give it a prompt and try and get it to code you something, and then take that code and just drop it into the like whatever you're using and try and run it, it will not work. Like generally speaking, something will be wrong. There will be a bug. So you have to do the whole debug yourself subroutine thing. And then eventually you might end up with some kind of Frankenstein code thing, but it's not going to be optimized like a builder would actually do it. You can tell it to optimize that, but you're starting from a crazy route that no human would think of.
Yeah, for sure. It's a
Or
very
not
different
necessarily
perspective.
like every time, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, I don't know how to put it, man. It's very, very powerful. Don't get me wrong.
Well, there was a lot of
But
talk
it's,
of AI at Chainlink this year, and Sergey even brought it up in his keynote, where his whole idea now is like AI is gonna, like, there's gonna be so many different types of LLMs that get developed. That's some of them will be nefarious, and like there has to be a way to have a verifiable internet. And his whole thing is, well, we can use the blockchain and Chainlink to kind of verify what an AI is putting out, whether it's actually verifiably true or not. So, um, that's interesting how like blockchain is starting to become a conversation with AI, and I think it's going to be necessary infrastructure in the future.
it's definitely, it's not about just necessary. Like you're either going to use it or you're not. If you're not going to use it, you're going to fall behind.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, it's just a smarter computer. Like if you want to train an AI to do something very specific, you can. Like if you're a company that deals exclusively with cars and you train an AI exclusively on car shit, it'll be an AI that's like super smart about car shit, but it won't know anything about anything else.
Yeah,
But it'll
totally.
definitely boost your business, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
regardless.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to, just bring it back into the Gotchi world. I'm actually really excited of all these AI developments because I feel like it's actually going to lower the barrier for people who want to get into developing or who want to build games. Because even though they are sort of primitive scripts, it's a great way to start learning. And even the way like coders are now doing their work is a little bit different. Like my cousin, she's a software engineer, and they used to use Stack Overflow for everything, but now they're encouraged to use LLMs to like diagnose a lot of their problems. Where the code it'll go through and read your code and find all the problematic areas. Oh yeah, Golden Cross also makes a good point too. Duppy Gotchi has some AI um, kind of chatbot that he's put together. So actually, Duppy, if you're in here, I'd love to check that out. Maybe drop the link in the chat. Because yeah, there's some interesting Gotchi tools that are going to be developed around AI. I feel. Just reading some of the comments here.
Transistor, I think Pixelcraft does use AI because they've talked about a few months ago, I think, probably a little longer than that. They've said, "Hey, we're pushing everybody to learn this new tool because it's a tool, something to evolution in the technology."
Yeah, the AI channels in our team chats, I think, are some of the most active. I mean, it's just an ongoing discussion and sharing of notes, and yeah, using them also too for prototyping or experimentation. So it's only going to get more and more ingrained and have more of an impact on end results, I think, as we go. I mean, a year from now it'll be crazy where we're at. 2 years from now it'll be crazy where the impact this will have on, like you said, Hefe, like hopefully we get to a point where we have this DAO and this ability with these open source assets to build all sorts of games, and then like somebody who is passionate about Aavegotchi but maybe not a coder can actually get to a point relatively quickly where they have kind of this AI assist to build what they envision. I think content creation is basically just about to hit overdrive in probably ways we could never imagine, even a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially in the content creation arena, I think AI is making, especially like for things like making shorts and stuff. There's a ton of like tools out for content creators, AI-based tools. Actually, I'll drop a link for everybody who's interested in more of this sort of AI exploration, because this is what I spend a lot of time on, is finding ways to kind of hack my life with AI tools. And this is a really good website if you're into this and exploring different tools and whatnot. And also sign up for their newsletter. This guy, he's a Chad with AI stuff, and I've learned so much from just like reading the newsletters. I think they're weekly newsletters, so it's not like super spammy, but like yeah, good info there, and check it out if you're interested in this kind of thing.
Right. So that's a good link, and right above it, I mean, guys, shout out to Nadio. Looks like a few minutes to go on a
Ooh,
sketchy Gotchi 3D. That looks quite. I like that. It's so distinct. I uh I was lost in the bazaar a few days ago. Just like went kind of wild picking up some new stuff and picking up some fakes. So I might have to hop in there here in a minute. Good heads up,
nice.
Nadio. Um, yeah, always room for the fakes. Also, going back to before this, we hit the Dow hour. Sandbox and the Gotchi Farmy. Like, did everybody see this link here on Twitter? There's going to be a lot of like kind of play to earn aspects to this. A lot of prizes, we should say. So it kind of starts now, um, and the mysteries begin, and pretty soon we'll all be playing. So remember, the game starts October 25. That's the plan, and then this week, I think tomorrow, all of our one-to-one sandbox versions of our gotchis will go live. So that's huge. That's after really a year of work and collaboration that's coming to fruition. So 20,000 gotchi assets moving into the sandbox.
They did such a great job with the gotchis. Like, um, they really kept the gotchi essence, even though they added little arms and feet. It still very much feels and looks like a gotchi.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
must
I
have
thought
been
they did.
challenging.
Yeah, there was quite a few iterations, I think, with Gotchi Farmy and what they were doing with Sandbox. But by the time it got to my desk and they like kind of were sharing what they were doing, I was like, this looks amazing. Like you guys have done a lot of good work here. So I think everybody's gonna be in some big surprises, like how much content they baked into the Sandbox game. It's really a full fleshed out game. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, they were like when they were putting the demo together and we were talking about it, they were like downplaying it so hard. They're like, Hefe, just make sure you tell everybody this is like a super basic thing. Like it's gonna be all rendered, and like even the demo looked beautiful in my opinion. But like what they just put out recently, the stuff that's been coming out, I'm like, dang, this is some next level stuff right here.
Yeah, they're very humble. They're very humble. They're actually killers.
Yes, absolutely, in every way. Oh man. And then another thing that caught me off surprise just real quick with the sandbox launch is there's going to be equipment like for your sandbox characters. If you already have sandbox characters, there's like Aavegotchi themed equipment now, which is kind of cool.
That is cool. I was unaware of that. That's super cool. I can't keep up with. It's a deep collaboration. Like it's like 360. So
Mad love from Sebastian and the whole sandbox development team for kind of hooking up with the DAO here and like going so deep on this project, like way deeper than any of us could have imagined. So I'm just very grateful for that.
yeah, and you see that prize pool in the link above. I think it's like 50,000 sand. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, you're right.
It's them out.
And 5,000 ghost.
Yeah, yeah. So there's gonna be people coming in just to check it out for that, which is fine because hopefully they discover Aavegotchi through that process. So I'm very happy to get some sandbox players to check out Aavegotchi, and the way they did it, it's got a little bit of humor. It's like you're on quests, you're learning about Aavegotchi as you go, and they've just done a really good job with a compelling story that goes with it. So I think you really need to mark it on your calendar and treat it as a major Aavegotchi release, the major release that it really is.
Yeah, 100%. One question, I might have to save this one for Farmy, but do we know like how the avatars are going to get minted? Is it going to be based on the snapshot they took a little while ago? So whatever Gotchi was wearing at that time, that's
Yeah.
what. Okay.
Yeah, totally. That snapshot defined everything. So
Okay.
if you had Gotchis in your wallet and they were wearing something at that time, that's how they're going to be deployed tomorrow.
Yeah, very cool. I think it was during rarity farming, so I'm hoping that a lot of Gotchis were not naked.
Yeah, hopefully they're all dressed up.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Like I guess if you trade your Gotchi or transfer your Gotchi, right, it's going to move the sandbox asset with it. So they did a really nice job where this isn't like just separate. It's kind of like true interoperability in that sense. So more value basically directly tied to the original protocol NFT, the Aavegotchi. No dilution.
And that is like the definition of the metaverse, isn't it? Is like being able to transcend one experience to the other without actually losing your character. That's it for me, you know. I think that's if the gotchis can do that across a whole bunch of different experiences, this is like the metaverse, you know. That's the whole that was the whole idea of it, I think. Which is awesome because I don't think a lot of other projects have got there just yet. So
yeah, I think tomorrow we'll be definitely putting out an announcement with instructions exactly how to get the sandbox avatar. But it's, I think, as simple as logging it, connecting your wallet to Sandbox, and it will be there waiting for you. Like, you need to go over there and do a claim, pretty sure.
yeah, and keep an eye out for the Gotchi Farming account, and definitely follow those guys if you're not following them already. These guys deserve a follow, and keep an eye out for these instructions. I know I'm going to be looking out for how to get mine minted. So.
Yeah, and we're also going to get a couple of new channels put up in the Discord here real soon. If you notice the rewards campaign, there's something called Enigma Odyssey. And so that's where the 5,000 ghosts are. So if you want those ghosts, you'll want to participate in the Enigma, which is like basically quests, like puzzles to solve within the Aavegotchi sandbox game. And so it's kind of a race too. I believe there's like one ultimate Enigma prize at the end. So you you work your way through that, and then if you're the first one to get that final piece, you get to claim it. So there's a lot of cool value hidden in the enigmas, and Thrax says the channel's up. That's great.
Oh, dang.
How do we? I guess we're just waiting for. Yeah, we all want to earn the enigmatic role, and once you have that role, you'll be able to hop in there and discuss the puzzles and the enigmas, and we can kind of solve them socially, or show off that you did it and I didn't, whatever. So some dedicated channels for the experience going live are totally necessary.
Yeah, I see Thrax got some of the details there. You'll be able to get the role soon via Farmy Quest.
Yeah, so definitely keep an eye on the Discord and be ready to jump in and be first to some of these really cool prizes. Oh, we got a new fake Gotchi dropping. Quite beautiful.
Oh, interesting. Look at this one. Haunt 420.
Well, cool, guys. I guess we're at top of the hour, so we can roll into probably a bunch of DAO initiatives and proposals to work through, right, Hefe? So,
Yeah, so I think today we'll go through the DAO proposals. We had a couple that just went through, and then I'd like to invite. There's a couple people who are interested in speaking. I know there's a proposal actively being formed by Light Piglet and RE, the events planning committee. There's also another conversation in the works around forming a working group of sorts to move the values and the mission, vision, values discussion. Keep that going. And I know Hardcore has some ideas behind that. And then I've also put together a little presentation for how we can move forward with DAO values. So that's what we got in for store today, folks. And we can get into it right away here. Yeah, but first, Soju's offering us a slice of Raffle a la mode. So you might want to go have a look at that. I'm loving the new food themed Raffles.
See, I gotta ask, what's the crust made of? Because it looks like it's delicious. Like, what is that? Graham cracker? What are we doing here with this raffle?
I break down the ingredients there, sir. Here we go. Let me just share the screen. Okay. All right. Let's start with our snapshot here. So we had a few, 3 or 4 proposals in the last little bit here. I think 3 of them are ending very soon here. But Rarity Farming Season 7 is has passed, met 11 million votes, over 9 million for quorum. 95% are in favor of. And this Rarity Farming Season, for the most part, is the same parameters as last time around, except there's been a 4th category for 100K Ghost for the Gotchi Battler Tournament. The tournament can have up to 4,096 teams, comprising of 5 Gotchis. So you put together your team of 5 Gotchis, and then the battles automatically happen, and then through that you'll rank on the leaderboard. And I know there's a BRS ranking component as well there. So can you guys see this all right? Just making sure. I am on the live stream, so maybe if someone can share the live stream so you can see this.
Hefe, share your screen inside of the Discord. Can you do that?
Yeah, I could do that. I could try
Yeah.
that. My computer should be able to
up.
handle it, but sometimes I run out of bandwidth. But let's give it a shot. Let's try it out.
Yeah, worst case, just drop drop your link. I'm streaming too, but I'm just showing the snapshot page.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, I think this is it.
So just I want to clarify. I just had a question. So based on the auto battler, I set up a team of 5. I guess opt into the tournament, and then based on the BRS of that 5, that team of 5, how they balance each other out, I would rank through this auto battler. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding of it. But if immaterial is in the chat, I would love to get your give you a chance to speak up here if you'd like. Oh, and Mikey J, Gotchi Battler Mechanics, dropping the thread as well there. Very cool. So keep an eye out for this. Top prize for the Gotchi Battler tournament is 10,000 ghosts. So, you put together the right team, there's a decent prize pool up there for you. And I like the longer tail for this prize pool, which is good. Top 512 Gotchis. It's not ranking, it's a battle simulation, so lower BRS teams can beat higher BRS ones. That's a good point. Very good. Yeah, so this one has passed, so I think we'll see an agate for that here pretty soon. Aavegotchi DAO mission statement. So Aavegotchi DAO mission statement right now has not met quorum quite yet. We have 8.1 million out of 9 million votes, so got a little bit left to go, and 89% are in approval of this mission statement. So our mission here, after much iteration and discussion, came down to splitting a few hairs and really getting the wording right and making it sound good, while also representing everything that we do. We do a lot of different things, so that was a bit of a challenge, but I'm so happy that we got here. And so our mission as Aavegotchi DAO potentially here is to empower players to own, build, grow, and connect in a multiverse of their own creation. So that's it right there. So you can either approve and it's good as it is, or you can vote for slight changes, or you can vote completely against it and we could try something else. So get your votes in for this if you haven't already. I think you still have let's see here, you have 1 day, so probably today is your day to vote on that if you're gonna do it. Rarity farming season ban of opt-in requirement for rarity farming. This was just touching on a discussion point that we discussed at the end of last rarity farming season about if we're gonna have an opt-in or not. And I think the consensus here, well, there's no quorum that's been met, 7 million out of 9 million votes, and the consensus still seems to be on no, do not implement. So this is a good temperature check for the issue, for this topic. And so you got, oh, this one ended already 18 hours ago. So the consensus is we're not going to implement that. What's the minimum VLT for Vault Quorum? Didn't it get changed a while ago to, yeah, trying to figure out if we have full quorum or not. I thought it was 15K. It got changed. But it's definitely a good point. If there are any vault managers that can clarify what the quorum is, that'd be good. That'd be great. And we can even look at we can actually even look at Gotchi Vault here. Let's see here. So this one got 14K VLT.
Yeah, I think it's 15K, but I don't know 100%.
Yeah, Aavegotchi DAO mission statement only got 9.8. So, uh, I guess 15K is the minimum.
Well, if you try to hit up some of the, I guess the vault managers or largest holders, because they might not be aware the vote is actually happening.
Yeah, well, if there's any of them in here, definitely go like vote. I definitely put my votes in, my 34 VLT every time I can, but I know that doesn't really move the needle. So maybe there has to be a conversation around lowering the quorum for the vault, if that's something that seems reasonable, if we're not meeting quorum. Yeah, Phantasma, I agree with your point. And we will touch on that a little bit today when we talk about our whole moving forward with the mission statement and all that. Yeah, I love Gotchi. I believe they raised it. And then Mikey J saying, can't get into the VLT Discord now. Invites are closed. Yeah, I'll submit a vote to lower quorum sooner. Okay. All right. Let's move through some of these other ones here. Gotchi Deals Club. Funding proposal for alpha release. This one's by Mikey J. He put together a great presentation yesterday. Or not yesterday. Seems like yesterday. Last week. And you have 5.1 out of 9 million votes, with 60% in favor of, and 40%, 39% saying do not fund. And so we did go through this pretty extensively last week, but there are kind of 3 stages to the roadmap. There's the alpha release, the beta release, and the full production, with various improvements at each stage. And Mikey J adding in here, it seems like it's going to be a close vote on Gotchi Deals Club. If you feel the project would be a beneficial community resource, I'd appreciate your support. If not, I understand and welcome your feedback. Yeah, well said. And yeah, really well laid out here. Yeah, I'm not going to go through and read all of it because it's actually quite concise, but have a look at the proposal. Get your votes in for this one. This is definitely going to be helpful for the Bazaar cruisers and possibly like people like myself that I've been too busy to look at the Bazaar lately, but there's items that I want to keep my eye on. Things like that could be really nice user experience improvement. Yeah, Choina, likewise. Yep. Okay, now we have one here from Oliver Spoon. Oh yeah, and Gotchi Deals Club, you got 3 days left on that one, so make sure you go vote. I would go vote today. Like I usually forget if I don't vote. So Oliver Spoon, Gotchi Crawler Leaderboard prize pool funding. This is a new proposal, and so getting hyped up for the launch of the demo here soon. Want to spice things up with a little leaderboard prize pool. And the benefits, of course, great fun. Funding requests will be used to purchase assets of the marketplace. All prizes will be NFTs and Forge components, keeping the money in the economy. More feedback for our team to deliver a better alpha phase product. Asking for 5,000 ghosts as a player bounty. And they'll be using those funds to purchase wearables, etc., for the prizes. And we'll have individual first, second, and third prizes, and then similar identical prizes for 4th to 10th, 11th to 25th, 25th to 50th, 51st to 100th. So prizes will be per Gotchi and based off the leaderboard score from most points accumulated in one playthrough. So far we have 76% in favor of this proposal with 23% against, and we're about halfway to quorum with this one. And you still have 5 days left to vote on it. I know there was some conversation in the ATF chat, which I'm also part of, And I'm curious to know, just either from Oliver Spoon's perspective or if anyone else wants to chime in. Uh, the ATF does have access to 100,000 Ghost that was specifically earmarked as a prize pool. It's not a development fund. It's not a. Its only use case is for funding prize pools, exactly like this. But I also know their cap was a lot lower that they set to for funding events. Has there been any response from other ATF members? It sounds like there's really good sentiment around it, like support around funding this through that allocation. But kind of curious to know either from ATF members or Oliver if that would also be another optional, or is that Plan B? Yeah, hardcore. I agree for sure. Yeah, that money is specifically a prize pool of 100,000 Ghost. I mean, not against like funding the prize pool, but if there is a allocate funding allocated already, maybe we should tap that one first. Yeah, exactly. Hardcore. They do have the restriction, which is something I was hoping that some other ATF members could chime in on. Either way, friends, you have 5 days to get your votes in on that. So yeah, definitely go do that. Get your votes in. I'd love to get in on this gotcha crawler, and been looking forward to that one. If they have funding to give out for grants, that's great, but they also need an operating budget to compensate members. It seems like there's no structure or accountability in place right now. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, there's no real structure there at the moment. Yep. Uh, for any directors in the meetings, this is Choina here. For any directors in the meeting, confirmed we don't have anything that needs to be addressed during the DAO meeting hour this week. Yeah, just putting the
Heck yeah.
call out there for the directors. Anything else specifically there? I guess no future. You got anything that you're aware of?
Uh, what do you mean specifically?
Like the RE, like director stuff?
Oh no, we're signing the transactions as you guys send them to us, as you approve things, doing our duties, and just signing. It's been chill.
Were there like some? I guess we can have this conversation at a different time. But was there like some sort of like treasury report that the DAO is supposed to get like every 3 months or something like that?
Maxi Crouton, I think, does a monthly report. It's dropped in the DAO discussions channel. We were talking about giving it some thread that was locked so that people couldn't, so that you don't get the main information lost in the sauce of the conversation happening around the, people adding suggestions and whatnot. So I believe they're going to change it up this for the next one, so that's in a private forum post, but that is not confirmed yet. At least I don't think it.
No, that's awesome. I see Troina also dropped a doc here. Okay, very cool. So those were the proposals. Let's get this out of here. Now, I would like to put the call out there. I know Light Piglet is working on events committee proposal. I don't see him in the chat here. I don't think he's ready to present. We also have another one in the works by Freckle Trivia. Again, that one's still in the works, I believe. And then we got Hardcore, who's you have an idea around potential working group to move forward our mission, vision, values discussion. So also wanted to put the invitation out there if you would like to come up and discuss what you're thinking about this. Give you a chance to do that here. GM. You are muted.
Oh shit, sorry. Yeah, good morning. Well, as far as the mission vision goes, we definitely need to move on to making a vision statement now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, really, my end goal there is we should have a constitution of like what are essentially, if you define what the rights of a Gotchi are, you can make it so you can structurally make it so that the intent of the thing keeps you on track, and we don't debase the value of the Gotchis simply by calling them rights. But that's like 3 steps down the road. So we need to even just have a vision. I mean, a mission or vision. Well, we need both. It's like layers upon layers of ideas that as we agree to each small concept, it makes the rest of the decisions easier, and it's not some big massive thing that we could never agree on because it's just like one person's 5-page concept.
Yeah, I think that is
But
definitely
in
one
the
of the
meantime,
challenges in
we
this
have a bigger
process.
problem. Like the recurring theme over the last few months, like ever since we started developing projects and funding things, it's created this tension where people, well, they're not done with it. When is soon? And everyone's kind of, well, just being a bit aggressive with each other about it. And to protect everybody in the future and to make it so that you don't feel like if you do something for the DAO, you're going to be attacked. We need reporting standards, and that they have to be easy to follow. It should take less than 1 hour a month to turn in your reporting documents. And if you do the thing, people can't attack you because you've already told them. And you shouldn't have to report to people every time someone asks it, but they should also know that they are going to get a report. And
When
we
you
need some
say
volunteers.
reporting standards, what sort of reporting standards are you talking about? Once like the vision and the values and everything is set up, to have this committee or working group also be the
No,
okay.
no, not at all. That's not what I mean at all. I mean, we just need a basic, okay, so your project is now DAO funded. At the 30-day mark, you're going to fill out this form or whatever we decide. I think it should probably just be that there's a day of the month that you report on. So if your project started like 5 days ago, you give the 5-day report. And that way there's a monthly cycle of information that we can propagate into the AI to make, Twitter posts, announcements. That could just be the version page that shows what versions all of our projects are at. Like the first most basic thing that the standards group would do is decide what versioning means, so that we're all saying the same thing. When you see a project move its version by a 0.01, you know that they did some small work or whatever, and you know that when it hits a certain number, that means that they have an MVP or that they're in alpha and that they're ready to test. We just set what the milestones are so people can easily communicate without having to be a great communicator, because the people that do this stuff are not necessarily going to be the greatest communicators or native English speakers or any of that. And it causes confusion and stress.
Yeah, Aavegotchi has a suggestion here. What about creating a type form for creators to fill out uniformly, to uniformly gather information?
Yep, exactly.
That's kind of the thought. That's kind of along the thoughts, along the lines of what you're thinking.
So you're in?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think keeping it
Right,
simple. Well, I
do we
think
have
keeping
one
it
then?
simple is good. Like just having a simple form to fill out. Like, hey, this is kind of where we're at. I'd be happy to kind of present that information at the DAO call, because I know not everybody can make it, and there's time zones and whatnot, like you mentioned. So having a simple form that you can fill out, like, hey, this Gotchi Farmy sandbox, and these are some of the cool things we worked on this month. I think it's a cool way to keep the DAO updated on things. And a lot of organizations do this, like Workday, for example. When you start your week, the Workday program will ask you, like, hey, what do you plan on getting done this week? Right? And it's just a kind of very casual, you can put in like a 2-word answer, you can fill it out and write a whole paragraph. But it's just a way of kind of checking in with yourself in your own project. And also, another thing I thought of is if we're going to have a form like that, pain points and problems. So areas where your project you might need some help, because like this is one of our ultimate strengths as a DAO is we have a lot of resources we can draw on. So if there's a part of your project that maybe needs a little bit more love, or you're kind of feel like you're gapping on something, that could be a great way to kind of put a call to action out for some additional talent or help. So
Yeah, or blockers. Like
blockers,
my
yeah.
project is currently not moving because project B over here, I'm waiting on the thing I need this feature. My project is done up until this point, and I am now blocked because of what? So
Okay.
people can see the big picture. Because as we go, this is getting everything to be so much more complex and intertwined later.
True. I just don't.
We're
I
gonna be
also think at the
we're
same
gonna be
time,
building on each other's stuff, and it
yeah,
gets complex. And it's better to just say that in a forum than to have these conversations repeatedly in DAO discussion where someone's like, well, I'd be done if so-and-so would do their stuff. It just leave it on the forum, and we don't have to talk about it, and people can be nice.
yeah, I'm all for it, man. But I also think we shouldn't put the cart before the horse. We should make sure we also get our visions and values kind of sorted out, because this all does tie in. Like we could use that information to help us kind of design that form, um, in my opinion. Or we could start with a very simple version and kind of build it out as we go. But um, let's see here, Mikey J. I think projects in progress should be part of the DAO meeting agenda, if not every week, then just once a month. Just like we go over proposals, we should be soliciting updates from project leads, at least on a monthly basis. Somebody needs to own that task and get compensated for it. It's not really a project manager per se, but it's a communications reporting position that we really need. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, if the DAO wants to put a bounty out for it, I'm sure there's people in the DAO that would love to get more involved. If people know the money's there and that there is a bounty that you can take for that, then um, you know that could be something that could get done.
Yeah, I'd say that person should probably be sourced from like a main qualification for being that person is, are you involved in all the testing? Like the people that sign up to the beta test, those are the people that should be that's the pool you want to pull from there.
I would also say
Because
though
those
it's
are the
the
people
DAO
that
that's
are like
paying
all
to
up
get
in finding out the experience of the actual projects,
Yeah. At the same time, though, like you make a good point, Hardcore. It's about having the expectation, and it is the DAO that's paying for these projects. So I feel like they're kind of owed an update at least monthly. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
If they're
Chime
fully
in.
I was looking
funding
at
your
it from the other
project,
side. The DAO owes contributors a proper framework so that they know when they're done reporting. It's this open-endedness is not good.
yeah.
It just creates drama. Like you don't know when you're done.
So then there's two things here. There's the reporting standard, like what's the interval for reporting, and what's the expectation for reporting through the form. Like you put the form together. Oh, we got Mikey J here. We'll get him up here to speak. GM.
GM. Yeah, I had a quick thought. So, I mean, I think I'm a big believer in rhythms, the fact that there's like certain things that we do on a schedule that kind of creates accountability. And I think one thing is it's hard, once a project is funded to like compel, people to provide certain kinds of updates. However, I think like I was saying, if we just have a cadence where, it's understood that the first DAO meeting of the month, there's going to be time spent on time dedicated to active projects, then put an invite out to people who are involved in those projects to come and provide updates or submit written updates or whatever it might be if they can't make the meeting. It then at least creates the opportunity, it creates the expectation that there's a time that we're going to discuss those things, and that it's not just randomly, when someone posts a disgruntled post at 3 p.m. on a Thursday or something, right? And by creating that space for it, you're not like, creating some kind of hard requirement. If they choose not to, of course, there's not much you can do about it, or we can do about it as a DAO. However, whenever you create that space, if there's then people who don't take advantage of that, who don't show up when all the other people are doing projects or showing up, showing work in progress, providing updates, getting feedback from the DAO, and then there's others that aren't, it creates a culture where you're encouraged to, as a creator, to participate in that and be active in the community and include the community in the development process, which I think is very much in line with our, the mission that we are talking about. And the types of kind of culture of kind of built-in accountability that we create about here. It's not about like forcing people to do things, but it's about creating a situation where the community kind of expects that kind of transparency and insight into what's going on in DAO-funded projects. So that's why I think even just kind of creating that space for it, like I said, if not every week, then once a month, and making it known to people who are working on the projects that they have the opportunity to come speak or to submit something written, I think could go a long way towards, establishing some type of culture of accountability.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And, from my experience, it was really good having, like, knowing who the appointed lead was for every project. So it was like, I know who I'm going to reach out to when you need that guy to come up and explain. Because sometimes you'll have people working on a project that may not necessarily really, and maybe this is where the forum comes in, but may not necessarily want to come up here and talk about it, but there's another way maybe they could submit, like either through a forum or like a forum post even, but have a way that, like you say, there's an expectation to contribute in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of the other reason I was thinking that the people that are doing the testing should be involved in the reporting process, or maybe be, one of those people could be doing the aggregating and reposting of the info that's gathered, is that, basically, if you're a tester, you have insider info, and we're playing a game for money here. So I feel like the testers are also in some way responsible to be transparent to the community. Like we should be communicating what we are seeing, because we are the ones that are seeing where the projects really are at. And it's just another layer of accountability for both the tester and the thing being tested. And so that the DAO has a window into what's going on, because what it comes down to is there's only going to be so many people that are going to have the time to do these things. And at some point, it could get to where people are fighting those people, and I'd like to not have it get to that point.
Yeah, for sure. We want to keep the peace for sure, and try and make sure we're implementing solutions before they become problems, right? And so, just in terms of actionable steps here, is this something we feel like we need to work on right now? Is this something hardcore that you're going to keep on working on in the background here? Is there anything that you could give us in terms of actionable items that you might be doing? Or is this other option that we can, get through our vision and values, and then that'll give us a better idea of what this could look like? I'm kind of trying to feel that out.
Well, if basically, I'm trying to cat herd a few people that would be governed by these standards to come into a room and agree on some stuff, and I'll help them put together some forums or whatever, and we'll get this handled.
Okay.
Like whoever's a dev doesn't have a project currently in, but is probably going to be governed by this next, would you come and help put together some standards that you think your compatriots would agree to?
Yeah, for sure. Is there a forum thread where this conversation could continue?
Yeah, one sec. I gotta get to the computer.
Yeah, throw the forum thread up there. Let's get some ideas going around that. I think the idea of having a space where people could feel safe to report on their project, and either asynchronously through a forum, or I could dedicate some time like we do with the proposal review and go through that at least once a month as a segment.
I was going to suggest also, we each of these projects that's been funded has a forum post that's still, I don't know if it's open, but at least archived. We could have those reports that are submitted by teams submitted to those forum posts that so that we can keep the conversation all in one place. So if you want that Wednesday heat, you can still find it, but it's in one place with the report.
It's not a bad idea, keeping everything together. I just know that forums move pretty quick, and like for someone like me trying to get the information, I'm not going to go through like 6 forum posts to get all the information. I'd rather have it kind of in one place. Whether maybe a forum post that's like a progress reporting post, I think would be good to have it all in one spot.
Yeah, something that, what I posted about earlier, if you imagine somebody who owns, basically overseeing, these check-ins, right? Somebody whose job, and it's not a big job right now, right? But even just anyone whose job it is to say, touch base with each of the people who have projects going on. Do you have any updates? Do you have anything we can share with the DAO? Who assembles that information, and then maybe even just keeps just a one-page Notion site, with just here's all the projects going on right now. Here's the latest status updates. Here's past documents and updates that we've been sent. So there's kind of one repository for this information. I really don't think this has to be overly complicated. I don't actually think we really so much need a standard as we just need some level of update, some level of reporting, and somewhere where DAO members can find that and know that the things that they're voting on, to be able to kind of assess their past voting decisions and think about future voting decisions. I think it's that simple. I think it's just, oh, hey, Mikey, you're working on Gotchi Deals Club. Like, what's your progress? Do you have any updates? You need any feedback from the community? I mean, obviously you want me or whoever's working on whatever to be doing that without being prompted, but the truth is people are busy and they get distracted. And I think it'd just be helpful to have somebody who's going to own touching base with project leads and reporting back to the DAO, or kind of nudging them to report to the DAO, and then keeping track of that information in a centralized repository, wherever it is, so that people can easily find it. That would be my suggestion. I don't think it needs to be too much more complicated than that, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the way that it'll actually work, though, is by trying to get people together to create some standards. If the person you're describing exists, I'm going to notice that right away, and I'm going to dump this on them as a job. Like, it's going to be obvious.
What if they don't want to do the job? They're like, I don't want to do that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll make them an offer they can't refuse.
Okay. All right. Well, you have your
wake
ways.
up to a horse go in their bed.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I agree with having this centralized place for reporting. And another point that I wanted to just quickly touch on while we're on this topic, and maybe this is something we can discuss further later on, but what is the DAO going to do the day that we fund a project, whether it's, maybe I could see this happening, maybe collaborating with another DAO, for example, where we have an agreement and then it doesn't work out. Like what steps does the DAO take at that point? Because on the smart contract level, we can't like revoke or partially revoke funds. We can't pull back funds, although I'm sure those functions are like, they do exist within like the realm of smart contracts, especially with all the tools coming out now, where you can maybe partially claim back a portion of funds from an escrow contract or something. But at what point does the DAO also want to think about like, how do we enforce that level of accountability with projects? Because right now it's very much on a trust level basis, and I think a lot of the projects being worked on are trusted Gotchi Gang OGs that we don't just consider them companions, like DAO companions, but also like friends, and so there is like a strong level of trust. with the projects being funded. Do we see that just continuing onwards? Like, do you think rando posts, even if it's a good idea, are just going to get turned down because we don't trust them? Or are there going to be mechanisms in place for a DAO to be able to leverage those relationships, using smart contracts or having some extra level of security? Just something that I thought I'd throw out there, but maybe not something we need to worry about right now.
Kind of goes back to we need a reputation system, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's again, you get into this thing where it's like throwing the chicken before the cart or the horse before the cart or whatever that saying is, where we don't want to get ahead of ourselves if we don't even have our visions and values sorted out. So I think we should take some time to I put a little something together for you guys, and we can do a little exercise here together, and I think we can pivot over to that if that's all right.
Yeah. We got to get this done because we have other
Yeah.
stuff to do.
Absolutely. So is my stream still going? Yep. Okay, so let's see here. This is just my little presentation I put together for today. I stole this from Aragon, actually. I've been spending some time over there and kind of learning about their suite. And they got some really cool educational stuff there as well. So I just kind of threw a little presentation here together, and not only to revisit the idea of DAOs for anybody that's new, that's only joined within the last little bit, but also to kind of remind ourselves what we're doing here, and let's tie in our mission statement with that. So, DAOs in a way this is an experimental technology. I think we've embraced that experimental aspect really well, and here, technology and financial incentives blend to cultivate collective efforts founded on shared values. So we got our mission statement, which was a start, but what's really going to tie this all together is having shared values that we can all come to agreement on. But there are a few challenges with that. We'll get to that in a second. So of course, for anybody who doesn't know what a DAO is, but you're probably, if you're here, you probably do know what a DAO is. So basically, we're organizations that operate through blockchain platforms with decentralized governance, accountable to smart contracts being the main tool that we use. So more DAOs are shifting towards being viewed as purpose-led organizations. Unlike conventional firms, DAOs prioritize values over profit for the most part. But that's not to say that profit is not a motive or a priority. It definitely is for sustainability, but having those shared values will allow for those projects and ideas to flourish within the DAO that can become profitable over time. So a couple characteristics of DAOs, basic characteristics, right? And we can all think about like how well, as we go through these ones, how well do we enforce these as a DAO? Are we embracing like the basic characteristics of a DAO? Decentralization. So no single entity has control. Decisions are usually made by consensus. Transparency. All our transactions and decisions, for the most part, are made public. I totally agree. We have these calls, which is a great way to kind of add this transparency. This conversation that we just had around reporting standards, like this whole conversation we just had, also touches on the fact that we have some intent on staying transparent and continuously pushing for standards that allow us to be transparent. Interoperability. This is not one that we really, I don't know to what level we embrace. I guess recently we have with the sandbox and all these collaborations. But being able to work seamlessly with other decentralized systems is also another important characteristic. And then the last one here, which I briefly touched on here at the end, was the self-executing smart contracts. So really utilizing the tool of smart contracts to enable all these other three things to happen is going to be key. And, there's tool suites like Aragon that are actually way more sophisticated than I realized, because they've been building just like we have for like the last 2 years. So that's definitely something we can have a conversation about as well. So DAOs and value development, and y'all can chime in on this one here with me as we're talking about this. So value creation, our DAOs, most DAOs, like if you look around, they genuinely emerge around shared interests and goals from the start. Like there's a mission development and that sort of thing tends to happen near the beginning as the members are coming together. We came together as a DAO through our love of these Aavegotchis, some reminiscent of Tamagotchis, some people being attracted to the DeFi aspect, some people liking the pixel art. So we approached this in a unique sense, in my opinion, that we attracted. There was a commonality, but also many different groups that resonated with that commonality, and I think that's why we have such a diverse group, and also why it took us so long to make our mission statement, because we had to keep going back to the drawing board trying to figure out what's the right fit for everybody here, that'll be representative for everybody to get behind. So the DAO serves as a vehicle to collectively nurture and pursue shared goals. So once we have our vision and our values set, and these are not set in stone completely. I think visions and, well, not vision so much, but values can definitely be iterated over time. And having those things on paper that we can all come to agreement on, I think will result in even more innovation, more empowerment, more creativity, as people can really get behind these things. Just gonna read the comments here. I like nurturing financial practices, hardcore. Love Gotchi also saying, I've been turned off a lot when predatory financial practices are rampant. So this just speaks to the type of people that are already being attracted to the DAO as well, right? There's a financial component, but at the same time, we have people that really value community, value the social experiences, that sort of thing. Mikey J, without a DAO team to review work and sign off on completion, I think the way I structured Gotchi Deal's proposal is another model for builders to keep in mind. Build in phases separately funded. That way the DAO can either reaffirm or revoke support based on progress of the project. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, there's already tool suites that exist that would help. If the DAO directors were to adopt one of these tools, it would make your lives much easier with managing these payouts, automating the payouts in chunks. Like there are tools on a smart contract level that would enable this pretty easily. Stakeholder involvement. So of course we have, like I just touched on, we have many different types of people in the DAO, and we all actively participate in various activities, resulting in the cultivation of values the organization stands for. So of course, contributions significantly improve our system, and we have so many contributors that have contributed natively to our DAO, which is really awesome. And so shared vision. So collectively committed to specific or shared values or purposes. So members of the DAO share an active interest in using technological advances to promote these shared values. So we can use, like I said, smart contracts and that sort of thing to help empower, help support and empower building in the DAO. And then the last one here for developing values is feedback loops. So we could go through, just like we did with the mission statement, we went through one iteration of the mission statement, and then we went back to the drawing board, got feedback, and then we did another iteration. But we weren't doing it at the same time. It was kind of like iterate and then feedback, iterate and then feedback. And so I like that approach that Phantasma took with that. And I think we should adopt it moving forward as we're building out our value, vision, and our values. And here's some challenges that we're probably going to face getting these values together that we'll have to kind of just be conscious of. It has been proven difficult to achieve consensus with such a large amount of participants that have been drawn to this ecosystem for various meaningful reasons. And so I think it's important now more than ever, even more than the mission statement, to get everyone's individual input. Like if we can get all 36 people to go to that mission and vision post and just post like a 10-word sentence of what they think about Aavegotchi DAO, even something like that would be immensely helpful in understanding really what you guys value here. And decentralization also we have to acknowledge means a mix of cultural backgrounds, which can clash. We're global. Like we have people in Australia, people in Europe. I'm over here in Canada. We have all these different folks around the world, and they may have differing opinions based on their socioeconomic backgrounds, especially when it comes to things like funding projects, getting work done. The value of work is valued differently all around the world, so that can always be a little bit of an issue as well. As DAOs grow, maintaining original values can be challenging. So we also have to acknowledge that the values that we come up with right now should be fully reflective of what we're doing as a DAO, and for the foreseeable future continue to do. But also acknowledge that DAOs change very rapidly. Like our DAO, we're not the same DAO we were a year ago, by any means, right? Look at all the agibs. So it's maintaining those original values. It could be challenging. We might have to change them over time as we continue to evolve. And the last one here: external stakeholders and market pressures may shift DAO priorities. So I don't know. I'd like your feedback on this one. I just kind of pulled it from the article, but it is interesting that in the future, if we have the A16Z and the big stakeholders come in and start buying up all the ghosts, which would be really good for the ecosystem and the current holders, how would that affect our DAO, and how would that change? Maybe even change some of the direction that we're taking with regards to values. I'm just gonna take a quick break here and read some of the comments. Just one more comment here. Yeah, what do y'all think about this so far? Is this kind of on point with where we're at? Or yeah, just love your feedback on that. Hardcore: it takes weeks of iteration of good ideas and confirm them. Yeah. We're working on a Voltron package for the DAO for 3 months, and we just got a huge conceptual level up on Friday. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, is this organic kind of meetup, people from different backgrounds, and being consistent and committed in our approach. We don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, but being consistent and committed and taking imperfect action can be the way to really get to where you want to be. Oh yeah, Aavegotchi: visualize DAO treasury holdings. And so this is just a little case study I found was interesting. This is EcoDAO. So basically their whole thing was, we're going to take on environmental challenges through decentralized efforts. And so they set up their values kind of right away, and they're like, all right, we're EcoDAO. We want to take on environmental challenges. How are we going to do this? All right, we got 3 values. We're going to emphasize some sustainability in every action. Everything they do is going to be sustainable. Transparent funding to support the cause, in line with the ethos of a DAO. And local involvement to promote local involvement to promote environmental changes from the ground up. And so they're able to accomplish that. They're actually one of the more successful environmental DAOs. They funded quite a few projects, and are actually making some impactful changes. And this is just like the future purpose-led organizations. I think we are building the future here, so I'm not gonna go too deep into that. I think we're killing it, honestly. I think we should give ourselves credit for how far we've come as a DAO, even though there's a lot left to go and probably more changes ahead. But we're doing really good. Like, I think we're on path for this like metamorphosis that we're in right now. And yeah, last point here. As technology evolves, so will the methods for promoting and infusing values within DAOs. So we don't need to fully rely on ourselves here. Like, let's really embrace technology, all the stuff we talked about, AI. Let's really kind of embrace that, and hopefully that can help us kind of, develop these values pretty quickly. So now, actually 1 second, I'm going to take a little sip of my coffee. What's your take on where we're at as a DAO? I'd love to get some of your opinions in the chat there. Do you think we're killing it as a DAO? What are our major pain points? Did this little mini presentation bring up anything? Kind of curious to know. And I'll also plug, just so you guys know where I got this information from, if you want to check it out yourself, this is the Aragon article here. And this is a great place to learn more about DAOs and even what other DAOs are doing. Aavegotchi DAO even got featured in one of their blog posts, so I'd go read that. Check it out. Yeah, Mikey J, we're very much in the crawl before we walk stage, which is not a bad place to be, in my opinion. We just have to make sure we're not thinking about running before we walk. Lost Local, we are a solid DAO, but DAOs overall have a long way to go. We have a wonderful opportunity to continue to shape the conversation of what DAOs can actually do. Yeah, 100%, man. Couldn't agree more with that. Yeah, man. I mean, it fires me up every morning. Like when I'm like, I get to be a part of a DAO. Like this is just, like I don't underscore what we're doing here. I think it's really developing models for a better world, not just governing a game or building better games, but really being a model of how you can actually organize human beings in a decentralized way, and to have a little bit more distributed power with how we're organizing ourselves in society.
Yeah, actually, I just thought of a good example of why the mission and vision is so important.
Go ahead.
So in the process of doing Voltron, give you a little alpha here. One of the things that we're doing is we're getting partners for it, so that we've got our own DAO sponsored tracks, but then there's also partnerships where, you know, other people that make technology or have projects will offer prizes if you use their project in your project. And the mission and vision is, I'm looking very closely at that when I'm looking at who I'm asking to be partners, because they must fit our mission and vision. If it's not on vision, it's not appropriate.
Yes, 100%.
And you need that, because if you don't have that, what you have is, well, yeah, but they've got $3,000. They're going to throw $5,000 at us. Well, yeah, but are they on vision? Is that an appropriate partner?
Well, let's
Is this
just
someone that I
let me
understand
put an
next to for the
example
next
out there
year?
for recently what happened, right, with the Anata NFT proposal. If we had our mission statement, let's read this mission statement: to empower players to own, build, grow, and connect in a multiverse of their own creation. Would it have made sense for the DAO in that situation to vote on Anata NFTs? Probably not, unless it aligned with this, right? We could always go back to that and say, hey, this proposal doesn't align with this at all. And you know, now we have the whitelist, which is a little bit better. But yeah.
Well, where I think that one missed it was it. Or one of the things that I'm avoiding in any projects that I'm approaching here is anything that uses an avatar. Essentially, I'm not interested in standing next to your avatar with Aavegotchi. It's not in. Like, it's got I'm having a real heck of a time finding a project that you could collaborate on games with, because everything is an avatar.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone knows the one where that an NFT project, like NFT gaming project, where there's a vehicle, that would be amazing. Vehicles, spaceships, well, anything that they would be willing to be. It just can't be another avatar. Like, you don't need to use someone else's thing to represent a Gotchi. That's weird.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna read a couple of the comments here. Love Gotchi saying, PC was leading a lot of activities. They also want the DAO to grow, but there was no baton passing to create tiles to aid in Alchemica spending competitions, for example. Forge team also got a big bounty for a great idea, but then still had to really collaborate with PC to make it a reality. I see Lost Local also there's some changes in the works. And then Love Gotchi also saying PC is busy building, but the DAO often finds out after the fact what is happening. Hard to support the IP when the direction changes. And then Mikey G saying, I think this is good insight. PC prefers the DAO to find its own way, but I often wonder if we wouldn't have needed a bit more structure to get us going. Seems like a lot of DAOs are more operationally mature, didn't organically form, but rather had quite inorganic leadership at the outset and moved towards greater decentralization over time. Yeah, I think decentralization is a continuum. It's not a black and white thing, and so you could definitely move towards being more decentralized over time. Yeah, there's some real stuff in the works there for sure, and something we can look forward to for sure. Just real quick here before we end off here, I just wanted to kind of do a little exercise with the mission and vision statement here live and just see what we can get here. Just a fun little exercise. And so what I'm going to do is I got my ChatGPT open actually, and I'm going to show you how I use a little bit. Oh, right. Yeah, later, China. What we're going to do here. You guys can still see my screen. Okay. Where is it? Here. Internet's a little slow this morning. Apologies. Okay. So this is my ChatGPT right here. This is how I usually start my prompts. And so basically what we're going to do, we're just going to give it our mission statement. And I'm just curious to know, we were talking about ChatGPT earlier, all right? And I'm curious to know how it can help us. So honestly, this will only take a couple minutes. So if y'all can't stay around for this, I appreciate you coming to the DAO call, hanging out with us. We'll see you next week at 2 p.m. UTC on Saturday for the DAO call. Tell your friends. Let's grow this DAO and get more people involved, especially if they own a Gotchi. And curious to know what y'all think about the mission and vision statements discussion so far. And if you have any insight or input, I'll also drop the link in the mission and vision discussion for you guys to look at. And yeah, definitely drop your input on what you value within Aavegotchi DAO. Why are you still here? Why do you own Gotchis? Tell us. So this is how I start all my prompts. Is basically this block right here. The idea with ChatGPT, Thrax was touching on some of the pain points, is to not ask it what you want, to ask it what experts you want for the thing you want. And so that you'll get way better prompts or inputs that way if you do that. And so I'll just drop this here. Make the text larger. Oh, bro, I can't do that, man. I don't know how to make the text larger. Does anyone know the short? Go ahead.
If you're on a Mac, Command plus symbol.
Oh, Command plus. So Control plus probably. There we go.
Yeah, thank you.
How's that?
For the boomers in the crowd like me, you can't read.
I'll also copy paste this prompt for you guys because it's really helpful if you're ever using ChatGPT to use this. Here. Just like save it in a file somewhere so you have it. But like experiment with it a little bit because you'll find your whatever you want it to give you as an output will be a lot better. And so, okay. So I'm going to say, please help me. Right. Please help me.
Live typing, ladies and gentlemen. This is tough.
I'm typing fast. Aavegotchi.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
To...
This is like going up to the chalkboard in front of the whole class and having to write.
Yeah, literally. I enjoy it, man.
The board is like, this concise is not with an S.
Centralized. Okay. So I just tell it what I want to do, be polite, so when the singularity happens, they don't come after you. And then what it will do is instead of answering the question, it'll actually give you your experts. And then it'll ask you if you want to add any more experts. So you could say like add, I don't know. Do you guys have any other experts that we could add? We got an expert ChatGPT prompt engineer. So that'll be to efficiently interact, clarify any ambiguous, and provide most effective responses to your prompts. A decentralization organization specialist, given the nature of DAOs and unique structures and operations. I'll assemble this role better to understand, articulate the vision and values of Aavegotchi DAO. And then you have Aavegotchi expert. This will provide the necessary background and specifics of the Aavegotchi project. If there's any other experts, I can add them in here. Otherwise, you say proceed, and it will actually kind of use these experts to help you answer your question instead of actually directly answering your question.
So did you just essentially make ChatGPT sybil itself into different personalities and then come to a group consensus?
I've hacked ChatGPT, basically.
But you just made it schizo. Is that what you? That's amazing.
It's bipolar. Add an organizational psychologist, and what's the other one? A PhD and PhD and anything else? Anything else we want to add? Do we want to add an artist? I don't think. Do we need an artist's opinion on this?
Freudian psychologist.
Get all the psychologists in here. Add Steve Jobs. A Steve Jobs expert. Trapeze artist. Okay. Are we good? Okay, here we go. Okay, so we got our other experts that we had from before. We got organizational psychologists to provide insights to how organizational cultures and values can influence behaviors and outcomes. We got PhD philosopher for depth in understanding values, ethics, and deeper meanings. We got our Steve Jobs expert to inject a sense of visionary thinking and innovative spirit. And then we got our trapeze artist to add a touch of fun and perhaps even balance. Peter Dinklage. I don't think Peter Dinklage has anything valuable to offer this conversation.
Use a used car salesman as the presenter.
Well, let's see. Let's get the output first here. Please proceed. Oh, right. We need to give it the mission statement. Is there any other information we want to give it besides the mission statement? I'm going to give it the mission statement. But type in the chat if there's anything else you want me to give it.
Could you feed it the document that Phantasma created with all of the images and text that's involved with?
Drop the document and I'll try and get some stuff in.
Phantasma might be able to do that. I don't know where it is.
To empower players to own, build, grow, and connect in a multi. Okay, good luck, good luck remembering that. Okay, let's try that. Mission for Aavegotchi DAO. Actually, can someone just type it out? I'm gonna have a rough time. Okay, I can actually move my screen right now. I'll do this. Okay. To empower players to own, build, grow, connect in a multiverse of their own.
It's in the chat, Hefe, if you want to copy it.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's see if there's anything in this doc that we can give it. I'm not gonna dump the whole thing in because like Phantasma said, if you just dump like a whole document in, it's gonna be too much noise and it's gonna just like mess up your output. You'll get like something completely random. So let's see if there's anything we can add here. Okay, a lot of them are images too, so that might make it a little bit. That might be a little bit. Maybe we'll save this for another iteration. We'll try and grab some information from here next time. But we'll just use what we have here. The mission for Aavegotchi DAO is to empower players to own, build, grow, and connect in a multiverse of their own creation. Do we have any like working values? Need to replace the regenerate with degenerate. Yeah. Oh man. Maybe I'll add this quote from Coder Dan, the founder of Vision. And it says, what we're trying to do with Aavegotchi is create a decentralized gaming platform. And then what was number 2? Experiment on a smaller scale with techniques that will power a freer society. Okay. Is there anything else we want to add? Oh, that's pretty cool, Aavegotchi. When you ask Google what are the most active DAOs on Polygon, Google Generative AI says Aavegotchi. Dang. How's that for SEO? Okay, so this is what we got so far. We've got the mission for Aavegotchi DAO. I hope I have that correct. And then the vision, the founder vision for Aavegotchi DAO. So I think that's enough. Okay, cool. Are we ready, friends? Should I hit the degenerate button? See what we get. And I'd love to do, if you guys are enjoying this, like I'd love to do an exercise like this next time around, or if you thought this was a waste of time, you can always you know, do this. You could do this on your own now that you have the prompt. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to read it out, and this is what we got from ChatGPT so far based on this information. So vision, our vision potentially could be Aavegotchi DAO, a thriving multiverse where every player is not just a participant, but an architect, laying down the foundations of an ever-evolving decentralized gamescape that mirrors the tenets of a free society. I'm going to copy paste that in the chat here. That's pretty good. That's kind of fire. I agree with that. I'm going to read it again.
Yeah.
A thriving multiverse where every player is not just a participant, but an architect, laying down the foundations of an ever-evolving decentralized gamescape that mirrors the tenets of a free society. A bit dramatic. Okay. Yeah. It is a little bit, yeah, over the top maybe. Good starting point. Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna dump that in our chat there for Mission and Vision. We can kind of tweak this or play around with other ones. I also encourage y'all to check out the prompt that I showed you guys. Play around with it a little bit and apply it to what you're doing, because you'll find it really interesting. It can be quite entertaining at times, and yeah, hopefully you get some value out of that. And I will copy and paste the rest of this here for y'all. With that being said, I think we can wrap this up. We can wrap this up. I appreciate all 20 to 30 of y'all hanging out with this for this Chat GPT exercise on Saturday, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And if we don't see you this week, we'll see y'all next weekend, friends.
Hit me up if you want to do standards.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And call to action for anyone else if you want to get involved in that. Definitely hit us up.
Dope. Take it easy, friends.
Later, friends.
Oh, I'm also going to be on a Twitter space in 40-ish minutes for repping Orium Network with some people from Kronos. So it's going to be AMA. We're just going to talk. So if you're around, check that out.
Yeah, awesome. Excellent. All right, friends. See y'all later.